On this episode of the Turnbuckle, Matt Riddle posts his first statement since Rehab. AEW Dynamite and Rampage are getting a new look in a couple weeks, and Tony Khan may think pushing Miro is a waste of time. Folks, we're rating your favorite wrestling movie to some wrestling news because it's time for the Turnbuckle. Matt Riddle has posted to social media for the first time since reports surfaced that he was in rehab. WWE announced on Friday, December 9th that Riddle will be out of action for 6 weeks following an attack by Solo Sikoa on Raw. A report from BodySlam.net would later state that Riddle was actually written off WWE programming due to him being sent to rehab following a second failed drug test. When he did not confirm but deny those reports, Riddle posted to social media on Wednesday. "I've been working a lot on myself lately and have been saying no and setting boundaries for the first time ever, and some people aren't happy about it, but I couldn't be healthier or happier. Thank you for all the support," he wrote on Twitter. Adult film star Jordan Max recently made public statements that she was dating Riddle for 6 months when he cheated on her with Misha Montana, who also works in the adult film industry. Social media influencer and OnlyFans content creator Daniela Petro also released allegations against Riddle, stating that the 36-year-old sexually assaulted her. She tagged WWE, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon in her post asking Riddle to be fired. I just drew a blank because I don't even know where to begin with this. One of his ex-partners came out and was upset that he was going to be missing Christmas due to the fact that he was going to be in rehab, and then she started talking about how he was dating someone else while he was dating her, and then now there's reports coming out about like leaked photos and everything, and it all feels very like icky. It all feels very like messy. That's just me, okay? The only reason why I talked about this is because he posted his first statement since the whole rehab situation, and it seems to insinuate that, hey, I've decided to make different decisions in my life, and that seems to have upset certain people that have coincidentally come out and said some damning things about my character. I feel like that is a whole different can of worms that involves Matt Riddle and his partner and his ex-partner. I feel like talking about it makes me feel like Wendy Williams, and I don't want to start going down that road at this moment. Listen, if Matt Riddle actually did, right, if he did it, then both partners should have nothing to do with him. Now, the SA, okay, because I don't think YouTube likes the fact that I say that. So that situation, if that is to be true, then we're just gonna go ahead and say that the correct legal steps need to be taken in order for this to be resolved in the manner that it should be. All I'm gonna say to top this off is I hope Matt Riddle makes a recovery of some kind, and all of this is resolved in a very timely manner. Next, we're gonna talk about AEW Dynamite and Rampage set for new look in a matter of weeks. As part of the contract for hiring Mansuri Warner Brothers, Discovery and AEW President Tony Khan decided to update the design of the show. The changes will go into effect at some time in January. The magnitude of these alterations is unknown at this time. It could be as basic as new visuals or as drastic as a new stage setup or greater production value. Khan acknowledged the new look during an interview with TV Insider. "I don't want to let the cat out of the bag necessarily, especially so close to the big day, but at the start of 2023, we're going to open the year on Wednesday, January 4th with the first Dynamite in Seattle, marking a full year on Dynamite on TBS. We'll definitely have a new look, to say the least. I'm excited about it. I think it's a nice thing to present to the fans, but frankly, I've found more so than ever, the more you talk about these things, when you build them up, you don't want to create expectations that are impossible. I will say the set will be beautiful, though. The look of Rampage will also be different. This will affect the way people view AEW on Wednesdays and Fridays in terms of presentation, with the set in the show with the same great action." Now, I heard about this like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I think, and I think they were saying something along the lines of like, oh, it's going to look a little bit brighter. I don't know. Don't quote me. We just got to wait and see what actually happens, but this is good, right? AEW is getting like a new feel, you know what I mean? I don't really necessarily know how far it's going to go, but I will say this. I feel as though that if we're getting a new set, or even if we're getting a new color palette, it's just going to change it. You know what I mean? It's going to be fresh. I'm hoping, because again, I don't know, I'm hoping that each set is different, right? You got your Dynamite, you got your Rampage, maybe even AEW Dark will feel different in some way, but I'm hoping that, with the new sets and potentially, I wish it would be a new production. Like, I just want a nice new feel, because if it's such a new, what's the word? intense change, right, then I feel like it'll get more odds on the product, because it's like, I don't know, it's like, it's just not the same thing that they were looking at before, so it's going to make them tune in even more now, because they're like, hey, this is not the thing that I was looking at previously. So maybe that means that something new is going to happen, or there's a drastic change now, so I want to see what the new change is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to attract more people to it. I can't wait to see what it is. It sounds like it's going to be really good, and only time will tell what it's going to look like. Finally, we're going to be talking about Tony Khan and how he may think pushing Miro is a waste of time amidst his AEW absence. Miro has not been seen in AEW since All Out, and he has not even competed on Dynamite for a few months. This has been a huge subject of worry for many fans, as they feel Miro is simply being underutilized and wasted in AEW. It was reported that Miro also rejected Tony Khan's plans for his AEW return. Recently, Miro's wife Lana stated that he will return to WWE in the future. While speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that Tony Khan may think pushing Miro is a waste of time after what Lana said. In September, Tony Khan came to Miro and he had this idea which would go to Full Gear, and Miro didn't want to do it. A lot of the people that come from WWE are very leery. Obviously, Bryan Danielson being the exception about doing jobs. And then it becomes very difficult to book when you don't really want to do programs where you're going to lose. But anyway, they went through, and now November's over, and now we're in the news cycle, and they want to bring him back and try to come up with ideas for him, and they very well may. If I'm Tony Khan at this point, given everything that's happened, and the wife of one of the wrestlers goes and says essentially everyone goes back to WWE, it's kind of like, why waste my time pushing this guy? I've got hundreds of guys on the roster who want to be here, and now you've got these guys who want to be in WWE. There's guys there, Keith Lee and Strickland, obviously, they had chances to go back, and they didn't even entertain it. But a lot of the guys wanted to leave. The guys who signed there, if they're guys who really want to be in WWE and just got fired and everything, but can't wait to get hired back, I don't know that those guys have been that beneficial. If you're oh my God, I don't even know where to begin with this, man. Dave's got a point, right? If you are planning on going back to the Fed, all right? If you're planning on going back to the other side of the pond, why would I waste my time putting you in a program? Why would I do that? You're allowed to say no. There's nothing wrong with saying no. I'm not saying that you are not entitled to have a decision on which storyline that you want to be in. But you can't just say no and then complain that you're not in the storyline. Do you want to be in a storyline or not? I don't want to lose. What do you mean you don't want to lose, Miro? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? Now listen, I also understand that he's Miro, and him losing would probably not be a good look for his character. I understand that, and there's going to be just a sea of people that are going to be incredibly irate at the fact that he loses. But that's what happens, especially if you're a heel. You lose. Heels are meant to lose. They're meant to be beaten up by the good guy so the crowd can go home happy. I understand, right, where both men are coming from, right? If you're Miro, put me in a storyline, but don't put me in a storyline where I look weak. And if you're Tony Khan, are you staying or are you going? You're staying? Then we'll put you in a storyline. Are you even thinking about leaving? Fine. We're not going to put you in any long-term program, because why would I do that? Why would I waste my time doing that with you? If he stays or goes, that's his prerogative, but I just don't see the point of putting him in anything if he is thinking about leaving. That's just me. What do we talk about? Matt Riddle posts his first statement since Rehab. It sounds like he is okay. He said he's saying no, setting boundaries for the first time ever. Okay, well, I mean, it sounds like he's doing all right. For the most part, I guess, right? It sounds like he's not really too upset. He's in a better situation than he was before. That's great. I don't know what's going on with the whole situation with him and his lady partners, okay? That is not my business. It's not. I'm not his lady partners. I'm not Matt Riddle. I'm not even a friend of Matt Riddle. So I can't sit here and be like, oh, I bet this is happening. I bet she's lying. What? You can't say that. You can't say, oh, I bet that's not true. You don't know, especially with SA involved. You can't just go around saying, oh, I bet she's saying this and I bet he's... I don't know. I don't know. And I, for one, am not the person to speak on this. AEW Dynamite's getting a new coat of paint. That is great. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what it's going to look like. I'm curious to see how it changes the overall feel of AEW. So until it actually shows up, I guess we can only speculate on how that's going to look. Tony Khan may think pushing Miro is a waste of time. Now, Tony Khan didn't come out and say this, right? But Dave, again, makes a very good point that it makes sense that if you... I mean, he gave him a program for Full Gear. Full Gear, okay? I would have loved if Miro was on Full Gear. I think everybody would love if Miro was on Full Gear. And if Miro said that he didn't want to do it because he didn't want to lose at Full Gear, on one hand, yeah, that's fair. But on the other hand, are you kidding me, man? Are you kidding me? Take your lumps, Miro. Ay. That's pretty much all I have to say about that, to be totally honest with you, man. Like, I could go on for hours. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.